people are living too fast in today's world, right? And you hear it all the time, and people are like paying fortunes of money to hear the same message all the time. Be grateful, right? Stay persistent. Surround yourself with people that lift you and contribute. Give before asking. Contribute first before consuming and stuff. And by definition, you're not just sort of rhyming these things out. Like, if anyone knows you, you actually do live and breathe these things.
So I hope so.
How do these show up in business? Are they the same values in business?
Exact same values. Let's go through number one. But for the grace of God, go on. My wife and I really think that whatever's on our balance sheet is not ours. We're just custodians of it to use well. And that at any moment in time, we have seen so many wealthy people just lose it against all logic. We really believe that God has blessed us to be custodians of these assets. Do a good job of being custody. So that's number one. In terms of family, we are very focused that none of our nieces, nephews, aunts, uncles should feel that they're worried about how they'll pay tuition, how they'll live a middle-class lifestyle while we don't have any of those worries. And we feel blessed to be able to lift up family as well. Even if we're not sure if we like them that much, it doesn't matter, they're still family. And number three, the net contributor, we've lived in a lot of communities and lived in a lot of countries. The minute we arrive, it's the same in business. The minute I meet a business partner, you're my family now. So therefore, I lift you. I don't want to be living a certain stable life and you not. I'll lift you. When we arrive in a community, when we go to EO or YPO, whatever it is, before we say, what can you give me? The first thing is, how can we help? What committees do you need people on? How can we stand up for you? My wife immediately goes to the not-for-profit world. How can I work? Not how can I be on boards for the net. How can I work? So that's the net contributor. Running our own race, how does it translate into business? When we have what let's call KPIs, key performance indicators, I have my own personal ones with my partner and say, this is what I'm trying to build from this business. Very often it's to nurture and empower entrepreneurs and part of the team so they become rich and wealthy as well. At that stage, I continue to grow in my own balance sheet. But for me, it's not about the numbers. It's about the value attributed to the numbers. So make sure that our business, like we don't, no hustling, no scams, eternal value. When you do business, your customers should feel that there's a long ongoing value by what you create and build. That's that part. And then the living will part, is some of our businesses haven't worked out, but I'm quite proud to say I don't think any of my partners hate me or are angry with me. I think that they still have respect for me. So that's the living will part, I guess, in business. Not everything works out, but we still like each other, I think. I hope.
You hear the term radical conversations, right? You were talking about having these like being authentic and making sure you're having, in quotations, the tough conversations, but I think in a place of empathy and support, not attack.
I was going to say it's nothing personal. It's just a partnership goal.
Yeah. It's hard, man. Look, people are hard. I mean, this is what my business is about. It's why I'm in business, is because if people were easy, partnerships, marriages, business decisions, conversations, raising kids, this would all just be smooth, right? But we get into emotions and we get into personal needs and stuff. Have your partners been able to live up to these values the way you describe them?
I always just say, if you really want to know what a partner's about, go to their kids' weddings, bar mitzvahs, christenings, whatever it is. See how many old friends and old business friends are at there. If everybody's new, steer clear of them, right? I'm blessed. At my son's wedding recently in January, I had so many people I've been doing business with for 15 plus years. And I'm like I looked at myself and I said, I guess these partnerships have worked out. Obviously, there's some that haven't. People change. Money comes in. An honest person becomes a little gray and then greedy and then maybe a crook. You got to watch that, right? But yeah, I would like to think that most of my partnerships have worked out, and I have phenomenal friends as a result of that, and I cherish that.
Yeah, well, I think that comes back to the point we were talking about before. You need to have relationships with people. You need to feel connected. For bluntly, as I said earlier, for me, I need to like you. I need to want to eat with you and invite you into my house, and I want you to meet my kids. And if I have that feeling, then the rest is easy, right?
You did ask me one thing about current economic times, but I can just quickly tell. I was on a podcast where Mark Cuban was speaking.
Oh, cool.
He said something amazing. He said that today's world is 100% different. Whatever didn't work before COVID might work now, and vice versa.
Right.
He spends 5 hours a day learning new skills. He has a multi-billionaire. He said he's learning programming, AI, 5 hours a day is learning new stuff so that he can go into the new world educated. And I felt like, wow, we should all be doing that. It's very remarkable.
You were talking about being a student, and I think, to that point, any successful human being, you want to define it as business or relationships, or maybe they're just living the dream, whatever. Every successful human being, there are some common denominators, and one of them is learning. Wanting to learn, getting excited to learn, craving new things. My wife thinks I'm nuts because I'm always taking on a new hobby. And I try to explain to her, like, sometimes it's not just the hobby, it's the excitement of learning, because, learning that thing is going to transpire into or be transferable into something else. When all this went down with COVID, one of the first things I did was double down and like trying to learn certain softwares to produce online learning and stuff. And the joke I make now with the company is I say, we've gone from being a training company to a video production company. You want to ask me about cameras and gear and like video and lights and stuff. It's a whole new world. And Kwame, who you've been seeing walking in and out, we talk about this all the time. Like, this is the world of video and broadcasting and stuff. It's a whole new skill set. You're right. I like what he said, which is that whole, what didn't work might work, and what did work might not work.
You're a professional zigger and zagger. You zigged and zagged. There you go.
There you go. But that's been my motto for life, man. That's how I drive as well. Everyone's like, why don't you just slow down? I'm like, no, this is me in my metaphoric success car, right? Zigging and zagging as fast as I can to get to the goal and the objective and stuff. You got 4 kids, 4 boys, right? How old are they? The age groups from?
Yeah, 24, 21, 18, and 13.
Okay, so they're fresh in it, right? This is the demographic. These are the kids or the young adults that are now moving into the world. What do they have to look out for? I mean, if there's some valuable lessons that you say, look, here are some things that you're going to have to navigate in today's world, and you're going to have to be really good at, or you're going to be stressed out, or this is what you're going to hit. What are those things? Like, how do you coach your kids to kick ass as entrepreneurs, as business people?
Wow, it's a lovely question.
I think, right?
Yeah. So I think what I try and tell them is there's a big difference between intelligent and wise. And in today's world, everybody claims to be highly intelligent. Seek those that are wise. People that have a combination of intelligence and established experience, who have low egos and really want to share their wisdom. Seek those people out in your teachers, in your leaders, in your rabbis, in your spouses, whatever it may be. Really seek those people out and show them respect and admiration. Ask them to adopt you as a mentor. And then I tell them to do this. I think I'm crazy, but hopefully with time they will do it. Buy them dinner when you can do things like that. Yeah. And buy them every 3 months. And before you meet for that dinner, send them an email or a text, whatever you guys use, that just says, these are the things that are on my mind that I'd love to pick your brain on. So they can put some thought into it. Mm-hmm. Find those wise people in your life. That's the first thing I tell them. The other thing I tell them in today's world, because everything's changing so much, occupations, opportunities, business opportunities, is the chances are that you're going to do a lot of different things before you hit 35. You're going to zig and zag in your... So make sure whatever you do it so well that you take with you a good reference and reputation with it. Even if it's not what you're going to become. Right. It doesn't matter. My dad gave me that advice. He said, Mike, you're a chartered accountant, but you're not a chartered accountant. But you're going to go through working for KPMG, as I did in Pricewaterhouse. Do it so well that you have a reference for life, even if it's not where you're going to be. And I try and tell them that. Yeah. The other thing is, I really try, but this is a hard one, is read more and screens less, read more and spend less. That's a tough one. And I guess the last thing is have a good sense of who you are before you choose your spouse. In my case, I have a pretty remarkable wife and I have 4 boys. And I always just say to them, that's your benchmark.
Mm-hmm.
Choose someone that at least is like your mother.
Mm-hmm.
But choose well, man. People choose so easy to choose the wrong person nowadays. So and then by then their eyes roll over. Okay, Dad, thanks for the advice. I'm done. But those are the things that I try and focus on.
That's amazing. And you know, to that point, I think people choose jobs the way they choose marriages or partners, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, this sounds nice right now. Let's do it. And 6 months later, 8 months later, you know, I don't feel like it anymore. I got to tell you, so I don't want to say my entire peer group, but I'm going to round up to maybe 80% of, you know, my network, people, business life and personal life, community, people I went to high school with that, like, you know, they're just in community, divorced. And I think these are young people. These are 35, 40, 45 years old, you know, young kids, 3, 5, 6, 8 years old, divorced. And it is the rare. And I looked at all these people and it's like they're into their next relationships and you just watch a pattern. And I see the same thing happening in jobs. In fact, I did a post recently, which was like, people have to stop applying for these titles because they sound nice. Like, look at the company. And I said something along the lines of like, look at what you could contribute to the role, right? How can you be part of this thing and contribute? Because the rest will take care of itself. The titles, the whole sort of nine. And I love what you talked about before, which is be the best you can. I've used this line forever, which is if you flip burgers, you are the best burger flipper in town. No one flips better burgers than you. No one gets that grill as hot. No one knows the spots though where they need to move. And you just love your craft. It's kind of like the old school tilers, right? There's people in trade, they just don't have the same craft as in some cases they once did. So call it traditional, but it's some of the old school stuff that works the best, right?
My wife and I are celebrating our 30th anniversary in a month. And I always joke, I say the first 10 years she should have thrown me out. And the next 20 years, I've been thanking her for not throwing me out. Right?
Right. There's the intelligence and experience. Therefore, you're wise, right? So that's amazing, man. That's very, very, very cool. Look, Mike, this has been a great conversation. I really appreciate it. I think you are very wise, right? I will ask you off camera if I could beg and borrow some of your time from a place of mentorship, because I'd love to just
love to, Greg.
talk and get just learn for as much as I can from you, man.
I love it. I love being on boards. I love being on advisory boards because I love, first of all, at home, I hardly get a chance for anyone to listen to me. So it's great when I'm on these different things. I love doing it. I love empowering and mentoring young entrepreneurs because I think the world's a better place when people create their own destiny.
Hey, I'm Greg Witz. Thanks so much for coming and checking out the video. If you like that video, you're going to love the next one. So I'd highly suggest that you click this video over here. And don't forget to subscribe and share.